Hey guys, so I'm bored, so I'm gonna find questions. Not that anybody's asked me because nobody's asked me any questions. I'm not that famous yet, but I'm just gonna look up some questions and I'm gonna answer them because I'm bored. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, first question though. Have you ever flirted with someone that you shouldn't have? Yeah. Probably a lot of times actually. But it's fine. Cause it was a while ago, you know? But it's fine. And also sometimes I flirt with people on accident. Like I don't even mean to. And then I find out later that I was flirting with them and I was like, oh, my bad. But yeah, I probably definitely have done that. Next question. Have you ever had a crush on your friend's ex? Yes, I have. Like kind of recently actually. So, got a little story time here. Basically, I liked this guy for like a year and then we were like friends, we were friends. Well, not really in the beginning. He was like new to the school. He moved from a different town. And then we had art class together and I was like, oh, okay. And everybody's like, oh, you like him? I was like, no, I don't. I did. Anyways, and then I was like, nope, that's not gonna happen, because then he ended up dating one of my friends for a while, and then me and him had been friends like while they were dating though, and he was like really nice, and I thought they were breaking up, but apparently they weren't broken up, but he was really nice to me, and like, you know, like really nice and funny, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then I found out they were still dating, and I was like, oh, okay. But then they ended up breaking up. And then they got back together, but then they broke up again. And then I asked his friend so he used to like take me home all the time, like his like parents or his brothers would pick him up, or his sister or something, like they'd pick him up, and I'd ask him for a ride home, and he gave me a ride home like every time I asked. And then that did happen some of the times, like when they were still dating. Not gonna lie. Sorry. But and then when I didn't have a phone, I asked his friend for his number, and I was like, I need to talk to him, but he wasn't at school that day. I was like, can you give me his number? So he gave me his number, and I memorized it, and I went home, and I texted him off off my mom's phone, and then we just kept talking, and then he's like, do you want to call? And I was like, okay. So then we ended up calling, and we were on the phone for a while. Me and him started talking, and then we just kept talking, and then we were friends, and then we ended up dating, and then we were dating for a little bit, and then he said he needed a break, so then we broke up, and then we got back together. Okay, we broke up it was July 31st, we broke up, and then we started talking again in like September, like end of September, and then we got back together, I think it was November 2nd, but we were only back together for 2 weeks, and then we broke up again. But that's my little story about that. Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, if you know what I'm talking about, no you don't, and we don't need to tell him that this is being recorded and that I just told anybody that, because he doesn't need to know that I'm talking about him. But you don't even know who it is, because nobody actually watches my videos because I'm not famous yet, but I will be famous. So yeah, actually this is just gonna be a little short vlog with just a couple questions, and I think I'm gonna be done now. So I hope you enjoyed my little story time. Yeah, bye.